All right, Josh, I'll come back to you because I know you're a Steelers fan. Carson Strong, 18 to the Steelers. So the only quarterback to go. So Kenny Pickett goes 9th, and the next quarterback doesn't come off the board until 18th with Pittsburgh. And in between there, Vikings, Saints, Broncos, maybe your Browns at 16 might be in the quarterback business. Do you think that a quarterback goes in that range? Number one, and number two, how do you feel about Carson Strong going to Pittsburgh?
I think one way or another, New Orleans is going to be aggressive in pursuing a quarterback this offseason. I don't know if that's going to be through trade. I don't know if that's going to be through the draft. I just can't help but imagine that Sean Payton has not been happy with the consistency and the level of play that he's gotten at the quarterback position this year. And I think they kind of knew that. When you look at the decisions that they've made from a salary cap perspective, it kind of felt like they were just taking this year to allow the salary cap to get back to a healthy position before they became aggressive. So now that the salary cap is jumping up $26 million, reportedly, that gives them a little bit of flexibility to maybe go make a move for a Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, somebody of that stature, or maybe you do target a quarterback in the draft. But yes, all three of those teams are certainly teams that you would think are going to be interested in a quarterback this offseason. Carson Strong, I know you guys are higher on him than I am. So, yeah, I don't hate the fact that he would be going to Pittsburgh in this scenario. It became clear that Big Ben is going to be moving on after this season. So you do need somebody, and maybe Pittsburgh is a team that is in the market for those same guys that I just mentioned for New Orleans. But they have to have somebody to bridge the gap because Mike Tomlin has built this reputation of not having sub 500 records. And I don't think that would continue if you had to start Mason Rudolph on a weekly basis.
I would remind you, Josh, that Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges still managed to win 8 football games. I would also remind you.
That is true.
I would also remind you that the Browns lost to Big Fat Ben a few weeks ago.
We don't need to go there. We don't need to go there.
In a demoralizing defeat that set that well, I don't want to go into it. I can't believe how the Browns had bounced it up. I had high hopes. I picked them to win the division, Josh. All right, make your case, Traps, for Carson Strong, whether it's Pittsburgh or somewhere else, because as Josh noted, it sounds like you and I are higher on him. The issue, of course, is the knee. But let's assume the knee is 95% and will remain that way, unless someone runs into it or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little higher on him than Josh, but I think this would actually be a little bit too early. But like we always say, quarterbacks get pushed up. And what is in Carson Strong's favor is that he's had a really hot finish to the season. Like 2 of his last 3 games, he's gone over 350 yards passing. He has taken 14 sacks in those games, and I think that speaks directly to his lack of mobility. The only way I think Carson Strong goes in the top 20 or really even in the first round is if he sells himself as this deep downfield passer that has, you can point to probably 50 long balls throughout his career that he's put on the money to Romeo Doubs or Cole Turner deep down the field. So he kind of reminds me, and just his whole draft profile, of Derek Carr, who went early in the second round, but I think in a redraft of that 2014 draft, of course, Carr would have gone in the first round. That they're from Mountain West, outside the Power 5, a lot of deep balls, through to an NFL caliber wide receiver in Devontae Adams. Romeo Doubs is probably going to be maybe a first, but probably a second round pick. Some mobility, but not great, very experienced. I think that comparison, just with how their styles of play are, just really strikes me. And I think, again, Derek Carr hasn't been amazing, but he's been a longtime starter. He's had stretches where he's looked like an elite quarterback. So if you really want to say, hey, I think Carson Strong can go inside the first round, you're looking at Derek Carr, where he went in the second, and then his career arc that he probably should have been a first round pick.
So I've talked to a team that thinks he's a third round pick. I've talked to another team that's been really impressed with how much better he's gotten in terms of his mobility, not necessarily running, but just at the beginning of the season,
moving in the pocket.
He was a statue because of that knee. I think he had a procedure just back in August, and how much better he was moving towards the end of the season. So I think this is going to be a wide range of opinions about this quarterback. So like last year, I'm not even kidding. Prisco would always come on HQ when we do the mock draft show, and he would say he hears that Mac Jones is a third round pick. And I get it. I get it. I'm not going to dispute that, even though I'm driving that train. But I think that's going to be a situation with Carson Strong as well. So I'll ask you a quick follow-up, Traps, because Mason Rudolph was your guy back in 2018, whatever that draft class was. He went in the third round. I like Carson Strong better than Mason Rudolph, if both guys are third round picks. Part of that's because I just haven't seen Carson Strong play in the NFL. I mean, I was fine with them getting Mason Rudolph and James Washington in that draft class, and I thought they would have a little more success than they have had. But I feel like, and again, maybe this is just like fans' optimism, that Carson Strong, if he's healthy, and look, you mentioned the 14 sacks. If that offensive line doesn't get better, it won't matter how healthy he is. But I feel like there's more upside, given what we know about Mason and given what we don't know about Carson Strong.
Yeah, just breaking it down for their skills. I think Mason Rudolph, and even me being like the driver of his fan club in 2018, I admitted that he did not have a strong arm. Like, I thought he was going to be able to read defenses, get the ball out quickly and accurately, and hit those big plays down the field like he did at Oklahoma State. That obviously hasn't been the case because I think he's held back by his arm strength. Carson Strong's arm is significantly stronger, both driving a football at the intermediate level and then just throwing it over the top 55, 60 yards. Like, I think Mason Rudolph loses a lot of accuracy when he has to loft those deep balls. He has to throw them a lot higher, which gives safeties the time to get over there and either intercept the pass or break it up. They are similar style players, though, because of their college careers. They're kind of in a wide open offense. They're not crazy mobile. But you're right. Like, if you're just saying, hey, the Steelers could draft Carson Strong in the third round, there's definitely more upside beyond just the fact that he hasn't played in the NFL than Mason Rudolph because of his natural ability, mostly due to his arm talent.